It was fantastic to see Graham Wardle and Amber Marshall working together once more when their long-awaited podcast with each other was just published. For a time I intended to discuss this podcast, but Heartland's new season kept me from doing so. The discussion of the podcast and Amber Marshall will therefore take place today. The first thing I want to mention about the podcast is how much I enjoy the actor on-screen chemistry. I could sense their pleasant connection as I watched their video. They both seemed really relaxed and pleased as they conversed with one another. However, I also got the impression that Graham Wardle was more concerned with posing questions and producing a good podcast than he was with simply hanging out with his friend. Did you experience the same thing? Do you believe that his only concern is his podcast and nothing else? Tell me in the comments section below. Given that Heartland has become such a significant aspect of her life, Lee focused primarily on nature and television. Thanks to this podcast we get to learn more about Amber Marshall and understand how and why she loves Heartland so much. In the podcast, Lee asks her about the feeling she gets while watching Heartland, as Amber Marshall being in the show and watching it afterwards are two completely different things, and she says that she may get surprised to watch how certain scenes turn out at the end. She also explains how watching the show is a heartwarming experience for her after all these years. She admits mostly loving the scenes where we can see the horses because, well, they're not actors and the scenes involving animals happen organically, which makes the show even more real. I also learned that Amber Marshall had no idea this show would be this long. In fact, she thought the show was going to go only for a couple of years. Joke's on you, Amber. Here we are watching the 17th season of this beautiful family show. After taking part in this project, she loved it so much that she decided to move to Alberta and started a new chapter of her life. But I believe this was her fate actually, because in the podcast she mentions how she had stuffed animal instead of dolls. When she was a little child, she used to use her mom's plants to create her own jungle and play with her stuffed animals, and now she has lots of animals that she can spend quality time with and take care of. She also tells a story from her childhood when she took care of a squirrel in need when all her friends were disgusted by its condition. So I believe she was always into taking care of animals. What a life she has. She knew what she wanted from life when she was a little girl, and now she's living it. I find it really inspirational, and I'm happy that she got to live that life she wanted even when she was just a little kid. Maybe we all should be more aware of what we are actually passionate about and try to follow our instincts and dreams. Graham Wardle summarizes Amber Marshall's life by saying that she is taking a look at nature for lessons, and nature reflects back to her to show her how to live her life. I believe he's completely right about this. It's like nature became her guide in life, and she definitely listens to her heart and Mother Nature to get some advice about what to do in her life. That's why I believe she's still in Heartland after all these years. Heartland is a safe space for her. It's a place where she can fully be herself.